ผู้ชมคะในช่วงนี้ ASEAN INTERVIEW นะคะจะมีประเด็นอะไรบ้างที่น่าติดตามและน่าสนใจไปติดตามค่ะ
Let's check it out.
Hello and Sadika, welcome back to ASEAN's Challenge Show with your host Pema again, and for today as usual we have yet another interesting inspiring conversation to share. So let's welcome Sofia, a student from Germany, to talk about environmental issues, which is very a concerning issue nowadays. So hello and welcome to the show, Sofia. How are you doing?
Good, and you?
Okay, I'm good too. Thanks. So let's get started to talk about environmental issues are at the rise, and everyone's talking about environmental crisis all over the world. So, what do you feel is the main cause for environmental issues?
I think that the main cause for these environmental issues lays within industrialization, and I think humans are the principal responsible for climate change, global warming, and even things like overfishing.
So you mean to say that human beings are the root cause of environmental issues. So on this note, how do you feel people should take responsibility in combating this environmental crisis?
I think everyone should take responsibility for it, and even the little things like do not leave your light on if you're going out of your room, even if it's for 5 minutes, and even if you don't pay too much for electricity, but it's just you're wasting energy. Or also like using, in Thailand you have many people using plastic bags all the time, and I think you could just have your own fabric bag and bring it with yourself, and these little changes, they matter a lot.
So you mean to say like start from the small beginning to the to contribute to the bigger cause. So it's a very impressive insight. So also speaking about the human beings and all, they say environmental ethics, which is the way how you relate to the environment, they believe that has a lot to contribute in the way people develop that sense of responsibility. How do you see this statement? Do you think environmental ethics is very important?
Yes, of course. I think especially if you have environmental education at school, if you start as a little child, I think you feel more connected to the earth and to climate, and you feel more responsible, and you feel that you have to take a different attitude towards it. So I think it's really important
to have environmental ethics.
Yes,
I see. And how about the state of environment back in your home country where you come from? How is the environmental status?
I think in Germany, environment is taken very seriously. There are many recycling programs happening. They even at supermarkets, if you want to have a plastic bag, you have to pay extra for it. So that's to discourage people from generating all that waste. And the government supports some programs, like they come once a week or once every 2 weeks, and they pick up all of your plastic trash to have it recycled. And even the state, they put up like blue trash cans where all your paper goes in, and where they have another green one for organic waste. So like
very
the state,
interesting.
Yeah, the state is supporting environmental changes.
So all the people are aware about the environmental issues, and then all people collectively work together on this program in combating environmental crisis?
I think so, yeah, because it's something they have lived with for a long time now, so they're used to having to recycle. They don't see it as an extra effort that they have to put in. They just do it.
I see. Very impressive. So how do you see the case of environmental crisis here in Thailand?
I think here pollution is it's a really high grade of pollution, especially if you go to Bangkok. The air there is very, very dirty, and in the first weeks where I was there, I would just get really sick. And I just see it here around university. You see like bottles laying around, or even in the islands, even if you go to Phuket, Krabi. I think people, and I don't know whose fault it is. I'm not saying that it's the fault of any special group of people, but there is a lot of pollution, and it should be tackled. Like even if you go to the beach, the sea is just filled with plastic waste.
Okay, so you meant to say like waste and air pollution are the biggest concern that you notice here in Thailand.
Yes, and lack of recycling.
I see. Okay, okay. So, going back to the education of environmental ethics and going back to the environmental awareness, how do you feel education is very important in supporting this awareness and then bringing out in the people's attitude towards environmental protection?
Definitely, I think like if kids start having it in school, if there are programs that tell you, yeah, can you please bring your plastic weight in school, we will recycle it for you, they might start doing that at home, you know. I think you have to start with the children always, because these children are literally the future of the country. And once when they become adults, they are still going to be used to recycle just because they've been brought up like this. So I think education is a very important factor in environmental ethics.
I see. And to develop a good habit since the childhood to adulthood. Wow. So how you are studying here in Rangsit University, how do you see the students out here? Are they responsible in when it comes to taking care of environmental issues, and are they responsible in this, they call it greener way or like environmental friendly ways?
I don't know. I know that there are some places you can recycle at one of the buildings, but I haven't really seen much of it. And I notice every time I go to 7-Eleven, like everyone wants to have a plastic bag and a straw and a plastic spoon, even though you're not going to use it, but you just take it anyways, and that's just producing waste.
Oh, so like you still go back to the plastic waste management problem. So any further comments or additional suggestions that you want to provide when it comes to environmental, like globally, how we can develop good environmental ethics and maybe have a good habit?
I think it's really just a thing of trying. You should just be aware, like, do you really need this plastic bag? Do you really need your coffee to take away? Like, there is also every iced coffee, they never give it to you in a glass. It always comes in plastic, even though you're drinking it there and you're not moving from there. And it's just generating so much waste. It's really not necessary. And I think if you're just used to it, I was brought up in a country, I was brought up in South America, and for me it was normal just to see waste everywhere. And once I moved to Germany and I realized it was not like this was not the way it's supposed to be, I started wanting to participate more and to stop, and I started to care about the environment a little bit more, because I realized this is not how it's supposed to be.
I see. Yeah, so you want all of us to develop a good environmental attitude since the beginning and try to contribute in the global effort in combating environmental issues.
Yeah, because I think it's really possible, but it's just a matter of attitude. And I think we should just take example from those countries who have managed to pull off recycling and ethical environmental attitudes, and we should try to be a little bit more like them.
Okay, so thank you so much for coming for today's show, and thank you for sharing your concern on environmental, and thanks for the suggestions. So wish you a very good stay here in Thailand, especially in Rangsit University. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And that wraps up ASEAN Challenge this week after ASEAN Interview. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again very soon next week. But for now, สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ